What would happen if you fired a bullet straight up? Suppose you stand in a large empty field, point a handgun perfectly straight upward, and fire. Where does the bullet go? And more importantly, where does it come back down? Let's use a typical 9mm bullet, weighing about 8 grams, and leaving the barrel at roughly 350 meters per second. If Earth had no atmosphere, the calculation would be simple. The bullet would climb more than 6 kilometers, stop for a fraction of a second, and then fall back toward the ground at nearly the same speed it left. Fortunately, Earth does have an atmosphere. Unfortunately, you are still standing underneath the bullet. The moment it leaves the barrel, air resistance begins slowing it down. And because drag increases dramatically with speed, the bullet loses most of its velocity during the first part of the climb. Instead of reaching 6 kilometers, our bullet might rise only around 1 kilometer before gravity finally brings it to a stop. This would take roughly 12 seconds. At the very top, the bullet would appear to hang motionless in the air. Then it would begin falling, but it would not keep accelerating forever. As its speed increased, air resistance would increase too, until the downward pull of gravity and the upward force of drag became balanced. This is terminal velocity. Depending on its shape and whether it tumbles, a small bullet might fall at somewhere around 60 to 90 meters per second. That is much slower than its original muzzle speed, but it is still fast enough to cause a serious injury and potentially kill someone. From firing to landing, the entire trip might take only about 30 seconds. So does it return to the gun? Almost certainly not. Even a tiny breeze could push the bullet sideways during its flight. At 1 kilometer above the ground, wind may be moving in a completely different direction than it is near you. By the time the bullet returns, it could land hundreds of meters away. But this assumes the gun was pointed perfectly vertically. If the barrel is tilted even slightly, the situation becomes more dangerous. The bullet follows a long, curved path instead of stopping directly above you. It may remain more aerodynamically stable, keep more of its speed, and strike the ground much harder than a tumbling bullet. This is why bullets fired into the air during celebrations can injure or kill people far from the person who fired them. And firing from the moon would produce a completely different result. With no atmosphere to slow it down, the bullet would rise, stop, and return at nearly its original speed. It would also land close to where it was fired. So if you fired a bullet perfectly straight up on Earth, it probably would not return like a supersonic missile.